Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Watch my video and subscribe my channel. Luna sends secret admirer texts to Will. Liam kisses Hope. The bold and the beautiful recap for Tuesday, August 26th, reveals that Luna Nozawa sent secret admirer texts to Will Spencer as Liam Spencer kissed Hope Logan. At the Spencer mansion, Hope acknowledged the love she had for Liam and their family. Hope was extremely pleased that Liam was alive, but she reminded out that she was engaged to Carter Walton. Liam advised Hope to focus on what she wanted and believed Carter would understand if she took his ring off. After a montage full of Liam and Hope memories aired, Liam kissed Hope and begged her to come back to him. At Forrester Creations, Carter stressed to Ridge Forrester that he didn't want to wait on a future with Hope and claimed that it was their time now. At Carter's request, Ridge volunteered to be his best man. Elsewhere at Forrester, Katie Logan found Will deep in concentration and pressed him to divulge what was on his mind. Will wound up explaining his mistaken identity hookup and the difficulty it produced for him. Although Will didn't like keeping secrets from Electra Forrester, he also didn't want to hurt her with the truth. Now that Electra was hinting about tonight being their special night, it was only adding to Will's guilt. Katie knew Will adored Electra and would never deliberately betray her. Will had to make his own decisions. But Katie said maybe it was okay to keep things quiet in this particular circumstance. At Lee Finnegan's apartment, Luna continued to gloat on her amazing night with Will, while Sheila Sharp remained on edge and pointed out that Will thought he was with Electra. Luna still thought what happened may alter everything for her, so she did her best to ignore Sheila's concerns. Later, Luna texted Will from an unknown phone and remarked that last night was fantastic. When Will wrote back and asked who this was, Luna answered that it was his hidden admirer. At Il Giardino, on Tuesday's B&B episode, Electra spoke to Deacon about a misplaced earring as she feared she might have dropped it there. Deacon hadn't seen it, but he resolved to keep an eye out. Electra's chat with Deacon offered her an opportunity to praise him for taking good care of intoxicated Will. Sheila came along and caught the finish of the talk, so she described the party and Will's fantastic night. The bold and the beautiful spoilers predict Luna will keep messing with Will via text, so stick with us for all the astounding news and horrible ramifications to come. Luna recruits Remy for creepy alliance against Electra. The bold and the beautiful spoilers imply that Luna Nozawa may recruit Remy Price for an Electra Forrester surprise. Will this stalker's obsession reignite with a little aid from Luna? Luna completed step one of her plan by luring inebriated Will Spencer into sleeping with her. However, there's more work to be done if Luna is naive enough to think she can genuinely win Will over. At this moment, Will still believes Luna is died and no longer a threat to anyone. Luna will ultimately make another move, perhaps when it's time to reveal a pregnancy test and present paternity confirmation, too. Of course, there's no confirmation that Luna is pregnant following her night with Will, but that certainly seems like a natural story route here. Luna may assume she can close the deal on a future with Will via their baby. Even so, Luna might want an insurance policy to make sure Electra is out of the way, just in case Electra might stand with Will after all the disclosures ahead. Luna might count on Remy to keep her out of the scene. If Luna summons Remy or slips out again to meet him, then they may address all the Will and Electra turmoil. Maybe Luna might remind Remy of how much he still wants Electra deep within. There's been a lot of debate lately about the deep fakes and the agony that Remy put Electra through. It almost looks like the show's setting up for another round of Remy's evil conduct. At Luna's prodding, Remy might go as far as kidnapping Electra when the moment is right. After Luna exposes her night with Will and potentially a pregnancy too, she might steal Electra's phone and impersonate as her via text. It'd be easy for Luna to give Will some texts and make it look like Electra is leaving town since all this is just too terrible. In truth, Remy might take Electra and hold her captive somewhere. That would give Luna a chance to take all Will's attention, at least until the potential hostage truth came out. Regardless, there must be a reason why Remy and Luna keep ending up in each other's orbit. B&B may be setting the ground for a sinister alliance if Luna is a terrible influence and drives Remy back off the tracks. Sheila lies to Will about Luna. Is the convict pregnant? The bold and the beautiful spoilers suggest that the morning after the night before, Will Spencer asks Sheila Sharp to help him remember the party thrown in his honor. That night, Luna Nozoa slipped into his bed and seduced him, which wasn't hard to accomplish seeing as he was snockered off his patootie. While he was helping himself to Luna, Will thought he was with his GF Electra Forrester. Will was tricked. Luna wore a party mask, and the atmosphere was dark, so Will was not able to determine who he was with. Did we mention he downed 180 proof booze all night long? Luna was thrilled at the experience, and Will imagined he was with Electra, who has kept herself pure for him. But that night, in Deacon Sharp's spare room at Aiel Giardino, the devil arrived. Is it Will's fault he slept with Luna? Luna is supposed to be dead, so Will doesn't suspect her. But he senses that something is off and seeks to Sheila for help remembering. Sheila is married to Deacon and was at the celebration. She didn't see Luna there, but she does know that her granddaughter disappeared around that time frame. We can now tell you that throughout the week of August 25th to 29th, Sheila finds herself between a rock and a hard place. Will Sheila squeal? That's because Will asks her about that night, but she swears she didn't see who approached Will in the spare room. However, Sheila understands what Luna did. Luna could be thrown back to jail if the world knows that she is alive, so Sheila does everything she can to misdirect Will. We anticipate that Sheila raises the finger at haughty Lainey, who is flirting with Will. Lainey will deny being the one with Will, but that simply means he needs to keep digging for answers. What happens next on B&B? Tell us, B&B lovers. What are the likelihood that Luna falls pregnant after her dishonest night? You know, this has got to be a possibility, and would surely send Bill Spencer into a breakdown. Explosive the Bold and the beautiful teasers reveal that Will continues to probe and prod at Sheila. How long do you think she can keep the unpleasant truth hidden? The rising sun over Los Angeles should have brought clarity, but instead it cast lengthy shadows across the fragmented lives of the Forresters, Spencers, Logans, and the convoluted orbit of those who loved or professed to love them. At the Spencer mansion, a maelstrom of longing and guilt boiled beneath the gleaming surfaces of polished marble floors and towering glass windows. Hope Logan stood before Liam Spencer, her heart in shreds, yet still pulled to the familiar warmth of the man she had felt she'd lost forever. The kiss they shared the night before lingered like a phantom between them, a terrifying reminder of what may yet be retrieved if only she dared to go for it. Liam, his eyes filled with the desperation of a man who had seen death's shadow and returned, pushed her to quit hiding behind Carter Walton's ring. You know, this isn't about just me, Hope. It's about us, our family, our history, all we've gone through. His words wrapped around her like the softest silk and the tightest rope all at once. Hope shook, torn between the life she'd committed to Carter, the man who offered her security and gentle devotion, and the tempestuous yet unmistakable love she'd always harbored for Liam. Elsewhere, Carter was making his own measures to safeguard his future. In Rich Forrester's office at Forrester Creations, Carter emphasized his intention not to wait any longer. It's our time, Ridge. Hope and we've developed something stable, something substantial. I want you to stand with me as my best man. Ridge, ever the pragmatist and never one to shy away from nudging the currents of destiny, agreed. But in the back of his thoughts, the shadow of Liam hung huge. He knew the Spencer lad rarely backed down once he resolved to fight for something or someone. And while love triangles intertwined in one corner of Los Angeles, in another, a far more dangerous web was being spun. At Lee Finnegan's mansion, Luna Nozoa's lips twisted into a smile that was half guilt, half triumph. The night with Will Spencer, blurred by darkness, masks, and intoxication, had been exactly what she envisioned. A stride, a footing, a risky card, played in a game she was determined to win. Will thought he had been with Electra Forrester, the woman he openly loved and respected, the one he envisioned a future with. But Luna knew the truth. and more dangerously, she held the proof. Sheila Sharp, standing rigid in the doorway, couldn't shake the dread coiling in her stomach. She had seen plans before, had lived and breathed cunning and dishonesty, but this was family. Will was Bill Spencer's kid, and Luna was supposed to be gone, assumed dead, buried by secrets that were never meant to rise again. "You're playing with fire, Luna!" Sheila admonished, her voice a mix of warning and reluctant protection. "If Will finds out it was you, if Electra learns the truth, this won't end with just hurt feelings. You'll go back to prison, and I won't be able to defend you." But Luna merely chuckled quietly and held up her phone. "You'll see, Grandma. He's already thinking about me, even if he doesn't know it yet." With that, she sent the first of many texts. "Last night was wonderful. An unknown number. A thread of temptation in digital ink." When Will responded, perplexed and curious, she signed off as his secret admirer, sowing a seed that would eat at his head even as remorse gnawed at his heart. Katie Logan caught her son pondering over those very texts later that afternoon. The Spencer estate was a monument to riches and power, but no amount of polished stone could hide the turmoil within. Will shared his fuzzy memories of that night at Il Giardino, the murmurs of something he couldn't quite place. Electra had been pristine, untouchable, and now she was preparing their special night as though nothing had happened. The guilt threatened to strangle him. Katie, ever the pragmatic mother, offered advice that was both a balm and a curse. Sometimes, Will, protecting the ones you love means carrying a burden they don't need to bear. At Il Giardino, life moved with deceptive normalcy. Electra Forrester, dazzling even in casual conversation, praised Deacon Sharp for caring for a drunken Will at the celebration. But as she turned to leave, Sheila caught the tail end of their chat and her heart tightened. The puzzle pieces were aligning, and she didn't like the picture they formed. Luna had been there. Luna had snuck in like a ghost, like the devil in a mask, and taken what wasn't hers to take. The coming days were a fever dream of whispered alliances and hidden actions. Luna, emboldened by Will's perplexity and her own warped sense of destiny, began to plot her next strike. If a single night could sow a seed, what could a skillfully built tale do? Rumors of a pregnancy began to swirl. None confirmed, but whispered enough to take root. Luna, it seems, had a plan for that too. A paternity test waved like a dagger in the shadows, a trump card to drive Will into her circle. But Luna was not content to play alone. In the murky backrooms of Los Angeles nightlife, she sought out to Remy Price, the very stalker whose fixation with Electra had once scared her. Their conversations were obscure, their goals deeper still. "You want her gone," Luna muttered, her fingers racing over her phone screen. "I want him. We can help each other." Remy, still nursing the embers of his twisted affection, listened. It began innocently enough, a note here, a warning there. But soon, the rumors evolved to plans. A missing earring, a lost phone, a text sent from the wrong account. Luna's plots stacked over each other, like silk sheets, masking a blade beneath. She envisioned a future where Electra was out of the picture, what was hers by default or by guilt, and their baby sealed the link. Sheila, however, found herself once again treading the razor's edge between loyalty and devastation. Will approached to her, his voice dripping with desperation. "You were there, Sheila. You saw who came into that room, didn't you?" But Sheila, bound by a twisted sense of maternal instinct and fear of what exposing Luna would unleash, misdirected him. She cast the finger onto Lainey, a flirty guest, knowing the falsehood would buy time but not salvation. Bill Spencer, still oblivious of the conflict developing beneath his own roof, saw the stress in his son's eyes and the remoteness in Hope's voice when she came. He had always assumed he could mend things, throw money at them, twist the board to his advantage, but this was a web of hearts and secrets that even his strength might not untie. As the weeks stretched on, one strand of the story unraveled into another. Hope fought with the memory of Liam's kiss, the warmth of it tormenting her even as Carter's steady affection tried to anchor her. Ridge watched from the sidelines, knowing that any wedding arrangements made now would be built on sand. Electra planned her night with Will, unconscious of the storm Luna was preparing. And Luna herself, she flourished in the shadows, her fingers dancing over her phone as she sent one more message, one more whisper to keep people guessing and doubting. But in Los Angeles, secrets never remain buried. Sheila's nerves began to shatter beneath Will's incessant probing. Deacon started seeing anomalies in Luna's disappearance and the timing of that fatal party night. Remy's involvement in Electra rang alarm bells across the Forrester and Spencer camps. And somewhere in the background, a pregnancy test sat waiting. Its result the flame that could ignite the entire city. Night fell over Los Angeles, enveloping the city in a swirl of gold and violet as secrets poured into the darkness. Luna Nozo appeared at her phone, a predator observing her prey via a luminous screen. Will Spencer had responded again, short, timid, courteous. His remarks indicated a guy stuck between guilt and curiosity. "Who are you?" he asked, as if the answer may free him of the night he scarcely recalled. Luna smiled. Her fingers hovered before sending. "Someone who knows what you want and what you need." This was more than obsession now, it was control. Every text she sent was a thread bringing him closer, constructing a tapestry of temptation and terror. She didn't need his love yet. She needed his focus, his uncertainties, his cracks. From there, she would erect a fortress where Electra Forrester could never step. Meanwhile, Electra remained blissfully unaware of the tempest brewing around her. She lighted candles in her Beverly Hills condo, murmuring quietly as she prepared a beautiful evening for the guy she believed was still hers in body and spirit. Her missing earring still nagged at her, a simple thing, yet curiously disturbing. Deacon Sharp had vowed to keep an eye out, but deep inside, Electra suspected something had gone wrong that night. Something she couldn't quite name. Katie Logan, ever the attentive mother, kept her own counsel. She had given Will counsel that might either save or destroy him. "Sometimes it's better not to speak the truth," she'd remarked. But each time she glanced at her kid, the shadows beneath his eyes told her the burden was become too heavy. And Katie had learned, sadly, what secrets could do to a family. Across town, Liam Spencer lay awake, looking at the ceiling, replaying Hope's trembling lips under his. The kiss had been quick but electric, an echo of the love they had established, shattered, and now lingered on the edge of recovering. He had watched her heart waver. He had sensed the way her breath hitched when he said that Carter would understand. Liam was not a patient man when it came to Hope. Not anymore. Not after almost losing her forever. Hope Logan, on the other hand, found no such clarity. Her nights were sleepless, torn between the firm hand of Carter Walton, safe, loyal, loving, and the storm Liam brought wherever he went. Carter had made no secret of his ambitions. He wanted to marry her soon, to establish a life without ghosts. He had even recruited Ridge Forrester as his best man, confirming the blessing of a family that had always lingered over her decisions. But the ring on her finger grew heavier by the day, and Liam's kiss was a ghost she couldn't banish. And then there was Sheila Sharp. For all her strategies and survival skills, she found herself in a situation she despised, stuck. She knew what Luna had done. She understood the truth of that night in Deacon's spare room, that her granddaughter had seduced Will under false pretenses, wearing a mask, gliding like a shadow. She also understood what would happen if Bill Spencer found out. Wrath, controversy, maybe even blood. And yet she hesitated. Sheila was a lady who had burned bridges with fire and gasoline, but this time she felt the tug of something more. Protectiveness, guilt, fear that if Luna went down, she would drag Sheila with her. The days that followed were a study in stress. Luna's texts became more frequent, more intimate. She sent pictures, nothing explicit, just hints. A corner of the room they'd shared, a fuzzy image in a mirror. each one gnawed at Will, who started questioning his own memory, his own allegiance. He couldn't tell Electra. Not yet. Not when she was planned something special for them. But the weight of it pressed on his chest like a stone. Remy Price entered the picture like a dark wind. Luna reached out to him under the appearance of care for Electra, but her words seeped poison into old wounds. "She never really cared for you, Remy," Luna murmured over a late-night call. "She chose him, but you and we know what's really best for her." Remy, ever the unstable mix of obsession and need, began to listen. He remembered the deep fake controversy, the humiliation, the restraining orders. But with Luna's assistance, those memories twisted into justification. Together, they began to plan, not open violence, not yet, but isolation. Luna's theory was simple. Remove Electra from the mix, even momentarily, and Will would have no choice but to turn to the woman who claimed to bear his kid. Because, yes, by then, Luna had taken the next step in her plot. A pregnancy test, positive or perhaps fraudulent, sat in her drawer. Proof or leverage, depending on what the future asked. Sheila caught wind of this situation and nearly broke. She confronted Luna one rainy night, voice low but wavering. "You're going to destroy that boy. You're going to destroy yourself. Is that what you want?" But Luna's eyes, so like her mother Poppy's when scheming, flashed with cold resolve. "I want what's mine. And you, Grandma, you're either with me or in my way."